It's like deja vu. Like every single week, it's the same thing. Just you might be leaving, driving a different direction. Now we're going on like 14 years of doing this, almost. Gone every other weekend. This one's actually like feels like it's a piece of cake. 6 hours, nothing.
I don't like these roads though. The roads
do suck. This is the turnpike, and once you get into Ohio, the roads are like destroyed. The tow dolly has no suspension, so we're like dodging potholes to like save the dolly. Just in toll fees, it's like almost $400 to drag this car with me because it's got two, you got two axles now you're towing. The schedule's always tight, especially with her training so much and coaching a lot. 10 MotoAmerica race weekends, and then whatever she does in Europe, and then she has some tests that she does with the team, and then she has her own training stuff. There's rarely an off weekend. I'm not going to complain because it is cool, it's fun, but it's a lot of work. A lot of work that people just don't see. And same with the team stuff. Like the team, there's so much behind the scenes that they're doing that no one really knows. And sometimes we don't even really know. Some stuff just can't get done because there's not enough time in a day. This whole day was timed out to like minutes. And that's how it always is for us.
I don't think people understand also like how hard it is to get attention with what we do. Like I feel like our sport is like one of the coolest things. We're not just machines on machines basically. We're people and like playing just as hard, riding just as hard as football players, training as much as the guys in Formula One. I mean, it's the same thing.
So many weeks on weeks on weeks where I would be like so exhausted because I'm loading up everything myself, driving all night to get to a track for her to work on her bike all day long, to be there for a couple of days, to load everything back up, to drive all night back. The weekend after she got her learner, she started driving the RV, and I was just like, yeah, have at it, I'm going to bed. I waited like 12, 13 years for that.
This guest has been around a long time, has rode a lot of motorcycles, a lot of different manufacturers. Bobby Fong, also known as Bagger Bob.
Bagger Bob.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Whenever I'm driving later at night, not too late, Mom, I always listen to podcasts, especially, Pipe Dreams is one I've been on, but it's with Corey Alexander and James Rispoli. Definitely something that keeps me awake and keeps me focused and aware.
I wasn't going to get paid what I would have wanted to get paid for 22. So basically I didn't have a super bike ride, basically. It was going to be a free super bike ride, and I was like, I can't do that. I'm in my 30s now. I can't just race for free. I got bills. If you get hurt racing, what are you going to do? Like, Who's going to pay the bills? Like, who knows what's going to happen?
Eventually you have to start making money. Shout out to Bobby, because that was a pretty cool podcast. I like when you're able to kind of see racers' personalities, because I don't know Bobby personally, but I think this is a cool look.
You look forward to going to the race weekends, obviously, but once you're there, you're focused and you're nervous and you're trying to do your best, and you got pressure on you to perform at the races. You come back home and then like none of that matters. Your sole focus when you're at home is is making sure he's good, like he's taken care of before you get anything done, But I feel like we found a pretty good balance. Shelby works a few days a week, so she has her. You splashed me, dude. That's cold. That's cold. She's got her stuff she needs to get done, and then I have my stuff that needs to get done. But I definitely, before I play Xbox in the morning with the boys, and and I definitely have to be a little more efficient with my time these days, but I mean, nothing's better than watching this guy grow up. Let's roll, dude. We got the goods. We got the goods for mommy. You don't need that.
Man, it gets harder and harder to leave Brody and Shelby all the time because like me and Brody he's just like, he's my little homie.
Hi. We got Chipotle.
Hey.
Look who it is. Look who it is. He's only a year old, but it seems like he's grown up so quick.
Did you come to see me?
Last week he started walking a little bit. Like he'll just like let go of the couch and like walk to you, and he's all proud of himself and smiling.
Cameron used to come in when we were at the old location, and he would come back to the parts counter and talk for hours, and would buy grip glue and then come to the front counter just to talk to me.
Are you blowing me out?
Yeah.
Blowing me out right now?
Yeah. Every
Well, she
day.
didn't know it was happening. I mean,
No,
like,
I didn't know.
She found out after, but.
At what point did you realize that he was there to talk to you?
When he like asked me on a date over the phone when he was buying parts, I'm like, oh. It's like, so like, what are you doing after work on a Wednesday? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, wanna go to dinner? I was like,
Damn.
okay, sure. The rest was history. Yeah. Do you want to go?
And now we got this little guy.
I think this next month off until Ohio is going to be really good for me, just to do some rehab on my foot and get it back close to 100%, because we're not there right now. Just get some fitness back and get back to doing some training and riding.
Cameron's gonna be here for an hour. It's what happens. Everyone wants to talk to him, especially after a race weekend.
How you been?
Good, how about you?
Yeah, doing good.
Good seeing you win.
Yeah,
the other
I
day.
appreciate it.
Nice.
Guys, how you been?
you.
Yeah, you too.
How's your foot?
It's getting better. Yeah, slowly. Yeah.
Weekend. Good job.
This is Sean Copeland, owner of this whole place.
He was our officiant for our wedding
Yeah.
too, so he's basically like
they
Uncle
were
Sean.
desperate. They had no other option.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
Right.
Yeah, that's right. We were desperate.
I think come mid-Ohio, it'll be good and make a good push for the last 3 rounds and see where we end up toward going into Jersey.
It's been 10 years since AMA Superbikes raced at Mid-Ohio. For 32 years, it was a favorite destination for motorcycle race fans and riders.
I've raced there and it's a really fun track. It's pretty tight and technical. The fans there are amazing and it's going to be great. I'm so excited for us to go back to Mid-Ohio and put that back on the schedule. Everybody's in for a treat. I can't wait for the paddock to see it.
It's a great track. A lot of history there with motorcycle racing. No, I think it's important to be back on the schedule, and everybody really enjoys it, and I think it's a great place.
After one win at Laguna Seca, Cameron Beaubier's comeback trail is all uphill.
Pretty happy with how my foot feels. It was getting pretty sore after I'd ride, and it was pretty wrecked after Laguna. I felt like I took a little step back just because it was still pretty early days to be riding and putting a hurting on it. But this weekend, I had no problems. I could ride it 100%. Don't really have to worry about it on the bike anymore.
How did it feel just then? Because I made that shock. I went closed on the compression.
Yeah, it's still just pushing on me, and but I think a lot of it too is when we have no rear grip, like we have no front grip.
Right. So
maybe
I made a
try
change.
with the new
I
tires.
just made a change on the fork too.
Okay.
Okay. He doesn't have any grip on entry or exit, but I think that's just a function of the racetrack. But I just lowered the back down where it was. So the only difference between those two shocks was the length.
Qualifying goes well for Beaubier.
He went red in the first sector.
So right now it looks like he's a little over a 10th under Sean Dillon's lap time, which could be the first 23 of the week we see.
It was a 1:23.9 for Cameron Beaubier, moving himself into that provisional pole position with 7.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. We are getting close to the track record here by Ben Spies.
Cameron takes pole as no one beats his time from Q1, including him.
I don't really see us going faster than yesterday either.
Yeah, I know. But I can't imagine that zero tire is going to go more than 2 laps either, if that.
Qualifying for Bobby Fong doesn't go so well on the bagger.
The baggers, man, it's kind of the same story all year long. Just another mechanical, another this, another that. It's frustrating for the team because they're working their asses off and I feel like they're always over there changing a motor, which is costing my main guy, Steve DeLorenzi, a lot of coin over there. So it's really frustrating. I got to have a come to Jesus meeting over there soon.
He ends up having an issue in qualifying 1 and decides to pull out of racing it to focus on Superbike. He's 23 points back from Josh Herron in the championship standings.
Had a motor lock up, top of 5th gear with Bob on it, locked up the rear wheel. Pretty scary thing to do at 155 miles an hour. Unfortunately, it just caused him to lose all confidence in the bike and he just didn't want to ride it anymore. So we put it all back together and found somebody to kind of finish the weekend for us.
Honestly, for the King of the Baggers class, they're pretty lucky that he's had such bad luck this season, because if he was on a consistently reliable motorcycle, he'd be a real problem for the rest of the field.
Every time I try to bring it back while on throttle, the front tire just goes like this. Just smears. Like I gotta put so much force into the bike to turn it. I'm so leaned over. That hasn't changed all weekend.
In qualifying 2, Fong sends the bike skyward.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Big one.
Bike down, turn 15. Rider is still down. Air fence impact. Air fence, stand up, please.
A crash out on the racetrack. I believe that's Bobby Fong.
That's bike 50. Control the air fence, stand up, 15, please.
Slowly trying to get himself up. He was our championship leader at one point in the season. You can see him right there against the air fencing.
Today was a definite struggle. It really actually pisses me off a lot, but not pissed at anybody, just we're slow. We are slow. This is not the time to be struggling during the season, so we do what we can and do some work tonight.
You don't mind crashing when you're out there and you're pushing the limit and you're trying to find that next step in lap times. It's one of those things where you gotta have a short memory sometimes when racing, and that's one of those things that you have to forget about going into the next day.
He's pretty tough on himself. I think this time he actually needed my help a little bit because he was pretty down in the dumps, almost like he didn't want to ride. He was telling me, ruined my whole weekend now. I really don't want to push that hard now. That's why you've been in this paddock so long, is because you have the reputation for pushing it hard. Shook the little gremlins off him and he pushed it hard.
Bobby completed his move back to Northern California before the Laguna Seca round.
Closer to family. Cycling's good. That was one of the main reasons why we moved here, was the cycling was good, community's nice, and yeah, just overall, just in a little better area.
I guess one advantage is we have a bedroom separate from our living room.
When I wake up at 6 a.m. when she wants to drool until 10 a.m., I could come out here and have coffee in peace.
So that's a plus. What else? When we get mad, we have places to go, and Kitty has more space to run around.
Yeah, she has more room to do hot laps.
Yeah. Don't put your ass to the camera. No one wants to see that disgusting thing.
With a month off before Mid-Ohio, he had some time to visit a couple of friends with some deep ties to the racing community in Northern California.
Sean, hey, what's up, buddy? Nice seeing you.
We're cleaning up.
Yeah.
We're cleaning up the
Rigby. Yeah.
You survived yesterday.
Dude, what's up, Terry? These Sean Sage, Terry Sage, they've been a big part of my program throughout my racing career, and training with these guys. These guys helped out a lot of people over the years, and they do some cool stuff here.
So this is the room we do most of our assembly in here. It's halfway clean. I wouldn't call it the clean room. The next room over, we do all of our cutting and grinding and try to keep the dirt a little bit separate and out of your motors and stuff.
They build a lot of custom bikes and restore older motorcycles, and they definitely help me out. And I used to go riding motocross. I still go riding motocross with them. Older guys, and they still rip in motocross and trails and stuff like that. And they've been a good influence in my life for sure.
The Umbrella Girls were all there. There were 4 of them, and I said, "Hey, do you have time for a picture?"
And she said, oh, sure. And they start staging. I said, no, I need you to take a picture of me and my brothers. So they had a ball.
I still just really like the bikes. They're fun to work on. People have somehow managed to pay me to make a living all these years doing this stuff, so I've been lucky that way there. Bob has a great attitude for a racer. You could call it the never say die or never quit with capital letters. I see him on lots of bikes, and if he's not going forward, I honestly kind of start watching the bike and see where it's not performing. It's fun watching a guy, watching their career and watching them grow up in the sport, making a living and all that stuff. Not an easy deal in motorcycle racing.
It was great to see Bobby Fong able to get out there and know that he is feeling all right, that bike back together. You see Cameron Beaubier sitting there. He will be our pole sitter once we do get the field out there onto the racetrack. We know it's going to be a quick start procedure. All of the pre-race ceremonies have been called off for today, trying to keep things moving along somewhat of the planned schedule for all of these great fans that have come out here this weekend. If you haven't been with us all season, Cameron Beaubier sitting down in 5th in the championship point standings right now, looking to claw himself back.
Before race 1, Beaubier is 46 points behind Herrin at the top of the standings. He needs to win the last 7 races and have Herrin finish lower than 2nd in at least 2 races to win the championship. It's not impossible, but very unlikely.
We're going to start with the TC more strong, +2. All right, if it's too strong, you're going to have to pull that back yourself.
And to open the engine braking, I go
minus.
Minus is less engine brake. Minus is less. Plus is more.
And same with TC, less.
Yep. Less DC is the minus.
Hey, if you get the speed sensor warning, you just keep going.
Start of the race for Steel Commander Superbike race number 1. Cameron Beaubier on pole, and he doesn't get a good launch to number 6, but it looks like it's going to be Sean Dillon Kelly might lead the way. No, it's going to be Josh Herrin.
What an absolutely great start, and his teammate Loris Bass slots in right behind him for Herrin. Coming from that second row, got a tremendous jump. As you said, Greg, our pole sitter Cameron Beaubier did not get away well there, and Herrin's going to jump all over that as a Ducati 1-2 as they come out of the keyhole for the first time. You see JD Beach and Gagne are also through on Beaubier. So looking back, it looks like Beaubier could be back as far as 6th or 7th, as Posh also is through.
My launch control didn't work on the start. Then I was dealing with some traction control, like all the stuff wasn't working.
You can see that front straightaway, as small as it is, there's not a single person behind him, and when you do see that place in 3rd, it's going to be JD Beach. He's at a 27.1. He's some 7.6 seconds back, but the number I'm looking at is Cameron Beaubier. Greg, he's 9.2 seconds back of the leader. Here's JD Beach putting in a tremendous run right now on that Tyler cycle. He's got his teammate directly behind him. There's Beaubier, and there's Hayden Gillum. Great to see a Honda there, as we've talked about this year. Top 5 right now for Hayden Gillum. So right now, Beaubier is just trying to chip away. Every point now counts, Greg. Every point you get is a big one. And you got to keep in mind, Bobby Fong is behind them. He's still a championship guy. These are important points, and he just went almost 2 seconds. Actually, he did go 2 seconds quicker than the 2 men in front of him. So Bobby Fong right now in 9th. He still has 7th place in his sights.
This 34-year-old from California has put his stamp on the championship and takes the win. It's Steel Commander, race number 1. Tyler Cycles, BMW. Cameron Beaubier will come across the stripe, 18.8 seconds back.
Good day.
And JD Beach able to stand on the podium again.
Josh, you got one hand on that championship trophy. Tell us how you got the job done.
I'm speechless right now. It's I don't know what to say. That was one of the most emotional victories I've ever had. Honestly, I don't know what to say.
Herrin's riding really good right now, and we're just seeing any hopes of the title kind of slip away from us, and we kind of just got to just eat it right now.
Josh did it! Yeah! Pretty decent start. That's the number 6 left part of your screen, and it's going to be Beaubier who leads us, and there goes Sean Dillon Kelly into 2nd place. And is that Josh Herron who got up into third?
No, he did
it's
not
Lawrence
get.
Baz.
Yeah, it's Baz. Josh didn't get the greatest of starts there, so he's going to have to come from 6. He's right behind JD Beach right now. Great start from Cam Peterson, who we didn't see riding yesterday. He was actually declared unfit yesterday, so he's had some work down there done to him.
Pass for
Yeah,
the lead.
SDK gets up underneath Cam Beaubier in the middle of the keyhole, and SDK is going to lead him down the back straight. I can't remember Cam Beaubier ever getting passed on a start when he leads from the start. So SDK did something pretty special there. As you see Herron now taking a shot down the inside of his teammate. He's going to move through to third. So the guy that was actually 6th up into the keyhole on the first lap, about a lap and 3/4 ago, has marched his way forward and got himself into third already.
As they go into turn number 1, Herron, this isn't the place to do it. Kind of get the feeling that maybe Herron's going to try to use the draft and pass down the back straightaway. Fans of Moto, whoa, nice pass. I guess not. So there goes Josh Herron. Man, the urgency of Herron right now is pretty incredible. As Jay, you mentioned it, the confidence that he is riding on, amazing. Onto the front they go. Not going to really try to make this move, but we've seen where Herron's done it before. Could it be the next right-hander? He's getting a good drive. He's going to try to sneak up underneath them, and there he goes. He's got position. So just like that, Josh Herron, boy, that's a gutsy place to pass, and he's able to get it done.
It's gutsy, but when you're on a motorcycle that you know you can make that pass, look at SDK, wants to sneak back up underneath him, and he stands Josh Herron up. So that's going to be great for SDK. Herron looks back, sees he's got a little bit of a gap, but I don't think he was expecting to see SDK stuff it back up underneath him in the middle of that turn. So
that's the same pass he made on Cameron Beaubier earlier in the race. Cameron Beaubier, who is there, Jason, but just doesn't seem like he's got a weapon right now to make any moves or take any chances.
Woo. So now you can see Herron, see the body position change? Yeah. You see Herron getting just a little bit more racing now. Turn 1, Greg. I said it was going to be turn 1 or turn 2, and that's exactly what it is. Now you watch the Ducati rider now. He's going to go try to sprint for a full lap. This is a qualifying lap now for Josh Herron. You can see it in the body position, how it has changed. Everything's got lower, a little more aggressive. Now he's going to hold this bike and try to hold it down.
A lap and a half to go in this one. Herron makes the move at the perfect time. And now he's dragging these 3. All of a sudden, the pace is ramped up as Beaubier last time by the stripe went his fastest lap of the race. So he's able to do 24s as well. Final corner, onto the front straightaway. Ducati sliding sideways, and Herron will take victory by 0.3 of a second and extend his championship points lead.
I gave it everything I had. Sometimes you have good weekends, sometimes you have bad weekends, and this wasn't necessarily a bad weekend. It was just a weekend where we needed to go get some wins and had a couple problems with the bike, and it's no one's fault.
I'm happy to get out of here, man. Pavement's weird, the weather's weird. A big crowd though, but personally, I don't want to come back. I've had a rough one.
Josh Herron gets his 3rd win in a row as he builds his points lead to 52 over Fong and Gagne. Beaubier jumps up to 4th, but now trails by 60.
Jason, what else can you say other than wow about Josh Herron?
Yeah, incredible. He's done a really good job, and for as many different leaders as we've seen in the championship and crazy races that we've seen and injuries from some of our riders, Josh Herron has said, I'm the guy. I want to come take this championship, and was incredible.
It's just been an amazing year, and I owe it all to my family and my team, and thank you to the huge turnout of fans in Mid-Ohio. This was always one of my favorite tracks to come to, and it's nice seeing like stacked fans out there, so huge shout out to them.
I'm not even going to think about the points. I'm just going to go out and try to do the best I can in all the races. The last 5 races, we got 3 races at COTA. It's going to take some unfortune for Herron to even get back into this thing. So, and he's riding really, really dang good right now. So just going to worry about ourselves and go give it the best we can each race.
Look at him on the podium. Just look at his face. He's not happy with 2nd. He's not happy with 3rd. He wants to win, and there's a reason why he's closing in on the all-time win record for the series. It's how he's wired, and you know that's what he expects of himself, is to go out and win these races.
On the next episode, Kayla gets a great opportunity in Italy, and both Beaubier and Fong realize Herron might be too far ahead in points to catch.